Hey guys, I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. So in this episode, it's going to be for a panel three episode. Now this panel was the essential part of the electronics powering for the entire spacecraft. Um, a lot of it has to do with fuel cells. A lot of it has to do with how the spacecraft reads a lot of the systems, especially for power. This and that. You got a couple of INDs indicators, a couple of gauges for volts, and fuel for to power the entire spacecraft. So this is actually the Apollo 11 scenario of the NASSP. So I'm going to get going with this just a bit. So on top row, you got a couple of gauges responsible for the SPS propellant tank and fuel cell tanks. A lot of it's going to be hydrogen and oxygen. One of them I see a helium. I'm guessing this is for the. It's either for the main fuel or RCS, because I believe they used helium for the RCS. Not not 100% sure, and I could be wrong on that, but I do believe it's helium. On top of it, it's a VHF antenna, so that's going to be the little thing pops off just before, just after TND. Just below it, you got a couple of SPS engine injector valves. Just tells you what's being injected into the SPS. Right next to it is the part of the fuel cell reactor radiator. Pardon me. Oh, bless me. So sorry about that. Oh man, almost knocked out my hernia. Kind of hoping for that the little scene from the Spaceballs that happened with my hernia. Hello, my honey. Hello, my darling. Hello, my honey pie. Something like that. But anyways, um, this is the main fuel cell heaters. So very rarely you will mess with this. This is pretty much already configured for the mission. Right. Beside that, it's going to be a SBS quantity. You got oxidation at 90%. Fuel at I'm just going to do that. Right next to it, right below it's a percent for fuel, which is 99.9, same as the top. Um, some of it's going to be oxide flow valve. Some of it's going to be a pug or a purge. Very rarely you would mess with this. But beside it's the fuel cell. Here I got. There you go. So we won't be booked again. Right next to it is a fuel cell purge. Purge just runs a hydrogen and I think oxygen through the fuel cells itself, so it can generate power. And to help clean the to clean the fuel cells out of impurities. Right next to it's going to be a fuel cell main bus A. Right below it's going to be a main bus B. Right beside that to the left, it's going to be fuel cell reactants, and again, a lot of this is already set up for the mission. Beside that, from the left is the for SBS um, HE valve and this and that. Right below it is a SD band, so a lot of that's going to be for powering the communications. To the right of it is more SD band for TV and tape. Right next to that is up So that's going to be transmission for transmitting a data between the two spacecrafts. So, okay, right below it, it's the SD band antenna right here. I'm going to be using this quite a bit throughout the mission, needing depending on what it's needing to be. I know you switch this on quite a bit during the first few hours of the mission, just because of what's being performed. Um, right below that is the SC React valve. You got terminals with that. A lot of it's going to be set at a norm. Sorry, my nose. It can also be set to latch, but very rarely. It's only latched, I think, during burns and major maneuvers. Next to that, it's going to be H2 purge line heater. Again, very rarely used. Maybe wrong that. Okay, so right next to it, it's going to be more communication between ground control and Houston. I mean, and the crew. So a lot of it's going to be VHF. So right next to that is a AC inverter. So that's going to be more for the electronics powering the spacecraft. Right above that is going to be DC indicator and battery charges indicators. Just going to tell you what's going on with this and that. So if you watched my whatchamacallit thing, my video for launching the 7.5 and reentry, I've talked briefly about that. So just changing these, it's just going to change what you choose to see. So these three control these. So this is going to be your fuel cell. A lot of it's going to be right there. Um, I don't know if you guys hear the launch control, but I'm trying to limit that. Main bus is going to be red on here on the DC amps. And next to that, it's going to be red for the DC amps. Right now, we're rating about 37, which is pretty good. And 37. Both are bat charge because we're not charging the batteries. They're going to be reading as zip. Bat charge C is reading about 38. That's pretty good for that. Pyro, and it's going to read about the same for the bat C. Put that as is. Bat charge, you're going to charge the batteries, mostly either A or B. And some of it's going to be controlled, inputted by panel 5. Right below it, actually, that's about it, because I just talked about that. So if I forget anything, if I'm not doing a good job, let me know. I'll try to clear things up. So if you guys enjoyed this, if I helped you a little bit understand that panel a little bit more, please give me a like and subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.